Hello Diecast fans, what we have here are two Porsche 911 GT3s in 1:18 scale. Now on this video, I'll be comparing these two fabulous good-looking diecast models. On the left side will be the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup made by Welly. On the right side is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS made by Bburago. Both of these diecast models are 911 GT3 besides the white color and the big rear spoiler. But the similarities ends there because the differences of these two diecast models are quite interesting. Also in this video, not only that we're gonna compare the differences of the 911 GT3 trim levels, but also the approach of the diecast manufacturers on how they were built. And also in this video, I want to compare the quality and the finish of these two diecast models side by side by these two well-known diecast manufacturers. Now let's compare the front fascia of the two diecast models. As we can see, let's go first to the Welly diecast. So we could see the headlight of the GT3 Cup right there. You could see the projector headlamps right there, and the bumper and the signal light, or the DRL I think. And here is the Bburago. The headlight of the Bburago is quite busy on the chrome side right there. And of course you could see the honeycomb grille right there down below the bumper. So these are the wheels for the GT3 Cup made by Welly. As you can see, the Michelin brand on the tires on it, and the rims are quite detailed. I think these were based on a BBS racing wheels. Also, they included the brake calipers right there and the rotor disc. Now, on the Bburago, now there's no markings on the tires, but they do have treads on it, as you can see. Just plain old plastic looking rims right there, and the rotor discs are visible, but there's no caliper on it. Now for the windshield wipers, windshield and dashboard for the Bburago, and the windshield wipers and the windshield and the dashboard of the Welly diecast. Now for the side profiles of both diecasts, as you can see, the doors right there. Also, Welly had included a glass window on both doors and a ventilated quarter windows right there. And of course, the big spoiler right there in the rear wheels also had a Michelin markings on it. Of course, these brakes, or the brake kit, also included. And the Bburago side, the similarities also of these two models may be the doors. Maybe they're interchangeable or swappable, but the Bburago has no glass window on it, as you can see. There is glass on the quarter panel, on the quarter window right there on the rear part. So you can see the rear wheels right there. No calipers, of course, and the big spoiler right there. Now for the rear part of both diecasts, as you can see, the GT3 Cup badge right there by Welly, and of course the two exhaust pipes sticking on the middle of the bumper, and also a towing eyelet right there on the rear bumper on the right side. Now the Bburago, I think they both have the same quality on the tail lamps right there. And you can see the GT3 RS insignia or badge. Also, it has two exhaust pipes sticking on the middle of the bumper and a plate number. Now, the engine bay of both diecasts. As you can see there, this is the GT3 RS by Bburago. It had some a bit narrow opening on the engine bay, so you cannot see that much. And as you open the engine bay, As you can see, there's also a writing. It says RS 3.8 Porsche on the plastic air intake, and you can see some plumbings and wirings on it, but Bburago has still had some conservative methods when it comes to engine detail, but at least it had some an engine bay on it. Now comparing it to the Welly, as you can see, it has a wider trunk or engine bay opening on it, so you could see much of the engine right there, the plumbings, the hoses and the wirings right there, the air intake and the filler cap. So if you want to go for the more engine detail, well, go for the Welly. Since both cars were tuned for hardcore track day or for weekend warriors racing their cars, there's gonna be roll cages on them. So this is the Bburago roll cage on it. It's quite detailed, and especially the red color really combines the color white of the diecast model. Well, you cannot see it that much thanks to the black interior of this diecast model, so you could see right there. And thanks to the white interior of the Welly, as you can see there, you could also see the bare flooring, floor panels right there, and also the racing harness that's clipped or hanging on the roll cage right there. There's also some electrical wirings, although they're colored black, but if you can look closely on the actual diecast, they're definitely detailed on some part. And this is the interior of the 911 GT3 RS by Bburago. So they definitely had some effort for the infotainment system and the shift knob, the steering wheel, and the pinnacle right there. There's a sticker on it, but it's well detailed if you ask me. There's also the handbrake and the right seat on there. So it's quite nice for Bburago to include all of those details. Now, going to the Welly diecast, as you can see, there's lots of buttons right there. There's no more infotainment system, but it's well detailed. You could also see the shift knob for the sequential gearbox, I think, and also the dashboard, and lots of buttons on it. So the approach of the GT3 Cup is more likely to be a race-ready 911 GT3. Now for the driver's side, on both diecast models, as you can see, this is the GT3 RS by Bburago. The steering wheel, and of course the pinnacle with stickers on it, and the aircon vents, and the door interior sidings. The pedals are, I think, they put too much chrome on it. It's a bit exaggerated, but at least there are 3 pedals on it. It's a manual transmission, of course. And I think they also had a headliner right there, if you can see, right there. So that's quite nice for Bburago to include. Now, for the GT3 Cup by Welly, there are gonna be a lot of buttons right there for the steering wheel and the center console right there, and of course the gear selector or gear shift for the sequential gearbox. And what really amazes me is the racing seats for the GT3 Cup. Still looks a bit more on the plastic side, but it's got the racing seats on it, and of course the racing harness right there. And like I mentioned, they also included a plastic glass window on both doors with a carbon fiber looking, or with the texture on it on the door sidings. So it's amazing that Welly Diecast made an additional effort for those small things right there. Now for the front part of these two diecast models. Now this is the GT3 RS by Bburago, so there's really not much to see inside the frunk of the GT3 RS, since it's just made out of one piece of a plastic slab right there. But at least there's Porsche writings on there. And going to the Welly, since this is a race bred GT3 Porsche, so you could see the plumbings right there, the fluid reservoir, and some additional components right there, colored in black. Not that much color, but still they included some of the vital components that you commonly see on a race car. Now my verdict for both of these diecast models, they're fantastic. They're bang for the buck. And what's really interesting for me is both of these diecast models were priced for about $25 to $30 US, and yet their approach to detail and the quality and finish are quite different. I cannot level them that this is worse and that is the best. It depends on the buyer whether they like this model or not. But both can offer some satisfaction when it comes to detail, build quality, and they're guaranteed to be appreciated by most diecast collectors, in my opinion. Now, both these cars were based on the 997 generations, the return of the round headlights compared to the previous 996. Now, for Porsche diecast collectors, this is an absolute. I absolutely recommend these models if you're on a budget. Now, there are some diecast manufacturers who offer a higher quality or higher, although it's going to be more expensive. But of course, this is the cheap version of it. Like myself, I admit I am a cheapskate when it comes to diecast models. So I want something more for what I pay for compared to what I pay for it. So guys, I hope this video helps and entertains you at the same time. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.